Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Cardvoyant. I'm Kris, and I'm your Cardvoyant. And let's do a tarot reading. I have this really kind of wonderful deck of cards. It's just a Renaissance painting theme, and that's just what they're called, like tarot cards with a Renaissance painting theme. I want to ask about the situation that we're in. I mean, worldwide, but specifically the United States, but of course that affects, the world. Um, I don't do a lot of like straight, I mean, I never really do like a straight prediction video, but I really am hoping that we get some of that. I mean, it's always tricky with that kind of thing because energy changes, people change, everybody has free will. So things can change like on a dime. But in general, there's been so many things happening this week and since, January, that it just feels overwhelming. I'm sure a lot of you feel overwhelmed a lot. And we get a lot of messages. I've done readings on them. I have said that in my book, Earth Energy, what it is and how to use it. There are a lot of sessions that ended up kind of talking about the current situation, how you deal with it, how your energy can process it, what is going on with people, I mean, there's a lot in the book that's about nature and places and situations and how energy works and how obviously how we can use it. But there are those topics as well. So we know it through many videos that our greatest power is within ourselves, our personal power. And there's so many things that are like outside of our ability to change, except as a collective. Still, I think about are there things we need to do as individuals? Do we need to prepare for something that's coming? I'm uh, specifically thinking about like the war, the Strait of Hormuz, like is it going to open? Are we going to be sent into this extreme economic decline? I mean, what's going on? How do we deal with this? So that's kind of what I'm asking. And I asked, like, will the regime fall? And it does truly feel like a regime. And if so, when? And of course, that's something that, again, the energy can change. Are we going to be able to undo what's being done? I think of so many things with national parks, with the White House itself, obviously, with this ballroom. That I read today that he is wanting to take out like the cherry trees that everybody loves and comes to see for Cherry Blossom Festival and all that, to put up some sort of cement kind of thoroughfare with 250 life-size statues of notable Americans. I don't think there's going to be a committee to pick those. I'm pretty sure those will just be picked. It's supposed to have to do with the 250th anniversary of the country. I mean, we'll see, but it's just the destruction and the chaos and the feeling that there's this like undercurrent of who is doing things, but like who's really in control here. And we sort of know their agenda, of course, from Project 2025. There's just a lot. So I'm just asking my Jacob guides, my guides, all the spirits who always help me, like, what can we do? What's going on? What can we know about what's going on? So with that long introduction, I've already shuffled the cards a little bit, but I'm going to shuffle them a couple times again, just so I can show you shuffling the cards. But I'm putting down 4 cards with this row of 3, and then this one card on top. I never turn the cards face up. They're always face down, even when I do readings for people and I do recorded readings and I just take a picture of the cards. This is still exactly how the exact process I have for reading. So let's look at these cards. Oof. Three of Swords. Yikes. Ten of Swords. Eight of Swords. And the Queen of Pentacles. Well, there's some good news at least. Three sword cards. Now, sword cards are, for me, they're very often difficult cards, challenging cards. I apologize. I'm sick. I've got a cold, so I probably sound funny, and I know that my sound quality has been in question, shall we say, but I'm working on it. I don't know if it'll come through in this video, but hopefully at least you can hear me. So, sword cards. They are the air cards. They talk about our physical brain. They talk about our mind. They talk about how we process information. They talk about anxiety. They talk about memories. They talk about analytics, right? All those kinds of things. They're very physical cards. And when, as in every one of these sword cards, when they're pointed down into the earth, for me, it always talks more about actual physical stuff. There are a few of the sword cards where the sword is straight up, horizontal. When they're straight up, like in the Queen of Swords is almost like that. The King of Swords it talks about the connection to the spiritual, like connecting your physical mind with the spiritual. When they're pointed down like this, when they are extremely physical cards, it is more about very, very earthly, physical things, right? And physical brains, a physical mind. So first of all, the Three of Swords. I mean, the Three of Swords, it is a card of heartache. I'm going to hold it. I know I'm going to show you the cards, but I want to hold this up as well, just so you can see. I mean, these are beautiful cards, but this is a gut-wrenching card, right? You can see it's very much a card of heartache, regret, difficulty, emotions, mind, all of those things. And I feel like this is us as a collective, right? The heart. I know this is true for me. I'm absolutely heartbroken about some of the things that are going on, the destruction of the East Wind, the Rose Garden. I mean, how do you deal with stuff like that? Who does that? It's a difficult thing. And here we sit by and watch it with our hearts broken. But what can we do, right? We can't really storm the Bastille at this point. I mean, what would we do? So this is the top card. You can see that this card sits on top of these other three cards set apart. And very often, most often, when a card is set apart like this, and sometimes there are two, but for me, this is something that comes up again and again. And it very often is describing the situation right now. Like there are guides, my guides, spirits, the universe acknowledging what we're going through. And we are heartbroken. And when you're heartbroken, it very often puts you in this almost state of paralysis. It's like you're overwhelmed with emotion. So what do you do? What do we do? What is coming up? So then you see we get, as we move from sort of what's going on, we see that our next sword card is the Ten of Swords. And the Ten of Swords is always, I mean, nobody wants to see the Ten of Swords come up in their reading, although it often comes up also to sort of describe what has happened or how you're feeling. And you can see this man here in this depiction. He is lying face up, but on his back with the 10 swords, actually in him. He's been stabbed by these 10 swords. I mean, I asked my Jacob's guide to take part in this. I'm doing this more and more, and very often now I almost feel like it might be easier or better to work without the cards. I think this time it's good because, well, I'm Cardvoyant, so we want to talk about card stuff. But the imagery is very potent, and I think it's important. But I want to say that a lot of this information feels like my Jacob's guides talking directly to me about this, because there's a couple things with this card. Now we're moving into like what's happening, what's going to happen, that kind of information after they acknowledge how we all feel. So I feel like there's more. Of course, there's, as long as this person is in office, and you all know who I'm talking about, it's going to continue. It's, you know how sometimes the bully, the mean kid, just likes to poke and poke and poke, and just to get a rise out of you, or to like do what, to get away with something, but to like do harm to like another child or something, the bully. He um he reacts to other people's reactions to the things that he does with a kind of glee. And even when he's very defensive or whatever, he's in this sort of gleeful posture of watching other people squirm. Um, he is something of a sadist. Uh, if we're able ever to find out everything that is in the Epstein files, but also other information that's out there. It's very guarded, and I don't know if we'll ever see it, but you would understand that this is very much a part of his personality. We talk about him being a narcissist, and many of those around him are, but he is also, because he's certainly a narcissist, but they're saying that he's also a sadist, and he takes joy in destroying things that people love. I mean, destroying people, that live in love and light, or at least try to move in that direction to some degree. People say like, oh, it's a personal vendetta, against Obama, because Obama's, he sees him as being adored by people. Well, that's true. I mean, that's true, but there's this element of sadism in it, that he wants to inflict pain on these people. He wants to put them in their place, right? This is very much the Ten of Swords and the way we're feeling, and he's happy about the way we're feeling. He's just like doing what he wants to do. And so much of this, just say, I think, like, well, he couldn't be like the mastermind behind all of this, and that's somewhat true, but we might be surprised at how much of this is his direct doing. Um, Here's the thing, and this is the thing that I'm saying, that these channeled messages, karma is a powerful force, a powerful force. This is a card of, yes, truth, of now, and the way that we feel. But the greater truth of this card is that it's a depiction of karma in action. Don't give up on the idea of karma. Don't give up on the idea of balance. Things will be balanced. The universe will balance things. I mean, that's what the universe does, right? It balances in love and light always, even if the arc feels long to us. It's not. I mean, we talk about all time being simultaneous, and that's what karma lives in, thrives in, the ever-present now. So this is there's karmic energy that is already happening, that is already taking place. Some of this is interesting because, and there's other people that the karma is happening for them. I don't want to say to them because it it's part of their journey. It's part of all of our journey. And when there's a great deal of balance that needs to take place, it's ongoing for a very long time throughout our lifetime. There's this balancing, and they will feel it. We will feel it strengthen at certain times, and some of it will be very direct. And you can see this in your own life. Just quick story. I had a friend who, I mean, I have 5 kids, and I was a single parent for a very long time, from the time that my youngest, slightly before he was born. So I used to, I was brought up in the Mormon church, and I didn't like sort of move away from it until I was 40-ish. My kids were small, when, we were living in Utah. I was alone, and I would like get them ready to go. And it was just like chaotic, but trying to get all 5 kids to church, right? And I had a friend at that time who had 3 kids. They were each 5 years apart. And so 2 of her kids were older, like early teens, and one was about 11 or 12. And at one point, she took in her niece. And from that time on, with the 4 kids, and 2 of them were much younger, she was like me. She was like late for church all the time. She was, it was just like so hard, and it was just exhausting. And it's like, how am I going to do this anyway? She told me at one point that she used to always think, why can't Kristen get her kids to church on time? Like, just a little planning is all it takes, and she wouldn't be late all the time, and her kids would be better behaved. Actually, the kids were pretty good considering that we were in church for 3 hours on a Sunday. They were pretty good. Um, but after her niece came to live with her, she's like, now I get it. Now I get it. And I shouldn't have said that. And I shouldn't have thought it. And I shouldn't have said it out loud, because apparently she said it out loud to somebody. And I thought in my head, that's karma. That's kind of like, John Lennon, instant karma kind of thing. Um, because she was given this opportunity to understand something that she didn't understand, and that she, openly talked about. And that's how karma works sometimes. Sometimes, and in the case of this person and several people in this regime, it will be ongoing into the non-physical for a very long time. There will be a separation of there'll be a separation of their souls from the body of other souls, or the majority, maybe is a better way to understand it, of other souls, the vast majority, to work with. They will be separated to work with this balancing of their karma. Will take quite a long time. It will take a very long time, but some of it's happening now. So that's why they give us the 10 of Swords. Yes, this is how we feel, but this is also beginning to happen to them in so many different ways, right? Ways that we aren't quite seeing yet, but some of it we will see quite openly. And as I said, some of this is very physical. Because what they're doing to us is we're in the physical, right? And some of this is very physical to us. Some of it will involve emotional pain. Some of it will involve, as I was saying, like physical. Some of it will involve health. Now, they're bringing up Stephen Miller. They just keep showing me Stephen Miller. And there's something about his health. Tarot readings, entertainment purposes only, right? Just put the disclaimer out there. However, there's something with his health, and it shows him and his wife, so I'm not quite sure what this is, but it's revolving around his health. But somehow she's deeply affected by this. She's deeply affected by this. This is a partnership, and I'm not sure if I would call it a romance, but it's certainly a partnership. There are other people as well. I don't know if I want to name all of them, because things could change. But there are some other people with health issues, and surprisingly younger people, at least one woman, but, and then of course the main person himself. It's funny because it feels like, we all see, oh, his health is declining, its health is declining. He actually is sort of buoyed up by every time that he feels he has a success. It sort of lifts his body chemistry. That doesn't mean it'll last forever. Okay, I want to move on to the Eight of Swords. Um, the Eight of Swords, you can see this woman here, she's feeling trapped, surrounded by these Eight of Swords, these eight swords around here. This is very often a card about, like, you feel this way, but if you look, there is obviously an opening. She could walk forward. She's tied up, but everything's kind of loose. She has the ability to free herself if she will trust herself, right? That's very often like the message of this card. They're using this card to be quite specific about what's going on. They are, and this is all of them, and this is the tech bros too, the tech leaders, these kind of four guys, Peter Thiel and Elon Musk and the AI guy, and maybe there's two AI guys. But anyway, there's four of them, but there's some others too. But this includes, they're showing like a net over the Capitol and the White House. And they're saying that they're going to be like caught up in their own machinations, because it's so they're doing so many things and it's so chaotic, and they're just trying to dismantle everything. And it's just they don't know, like one hand doesn't know what the other's doing. They're just doing all this stuff, and it's such chaos that it's building a house of cards that is going to fall and capture them. That's why they're showing the net. It's kind of like captures them. They're talking about this TV show, and I've thought about this a lot, and they're bringing it up. So it's a TV show. Let me, oh, if I can remember the name of it, I think it was called Soul Survivor, and it's with Kiefer Sutherland. And like, there's this horrible thing that happens in Washington, and the line of succession. Well, everybody in the line of succession is not around anymore. And so Kiefer Sutherland has to take over as president, and he's kind of a low level mid guy, but he's like, a good guy and tried and true and everything. And there's still people who are just kind of awful. And they keep showing me that. And I think that they're talking about so many people getting caught up, swept up in this net of things come out, the things go wrong. People are ousted because they're doing sort of awful things and crazy things, and it just goes like one step too far, and it gets somebody mad, and so they're like ousted. This definitely feels like Pete Hegseth at some point. But ultimately, this net sort of falls over all of them. And so the answer to my question, like, will the regime fall? They're like, not only will it fall, it's going to catch all these people in its net. And this includes members of the Senate and members of the House as well. Some of them are very involved. Very involved. Like they've got their hands in the same pie, right? And they think they're getting something out of it. Ultimately, it will be their demise. There will be people who choose not to stay in the physical anymore. There will be people who will go to prison. There will be people who run, flee the country, or go into some kind of hiding. And there will be people brought to justice. This is a chaotic energy that has no strength. It only has momentum and a lot of people on the same page trying to do the same thing. So I could see that this video was getting way longer than I thought. When I went into this, I thought this is going to be, I'll just do 15 minutes. I'll make sure it's 15 minutes, but I can't. And I'm so used to doing 1 hour readings. It often comes that way. So I'm thinking this is best divided into two. So this will be officially the end of part one. I hope that you're interested enough to come back for part two, because part two is well, you'll see, it's a lot, there's the hopeful bit and there's the instructional bit. So I think most of that will be in part two. Thank you for watching part one. I'm going to put part two up almost immediately, because hopefully you'll want to go to it. But of course, watch as much as you can when you can. I appreciate it. I just really hope that it's helpful to you, and meaningful to you and all that kind of stuff. So, end of part one. Please come back for part two.